Okay, you hear the term big data all the time, right? It's one of those giant buzzwords that's supposed to change, well, everything, especially in the world of marketing.
And, the promise is pretty incredible. The idea is to take these massive oceans of information about us and use it to craft the perfect ad. The right message for the right person at the exact right moment. That's the dream.
But that leads to a huge paradox, doesn't it? If big data is so powerful, why are your online feeds still jammed with ads that are totally irrelevant or super repetitive or just plain annoying? If the data is so big, why isn't it any smarter?
To figure that out, we have to first really get a feel for the raw power of big data when it's actually done right. Because this isn't just theory. Let's look at a real company that absolutely nailed it.
So, take a huge company like Philips. They had a really simple goal: make more money and get more conversions from their email marketing, a classic problem that a ton of companies face. So they went all in on a data-driven strategy, and the results, well, they're kind of staggering. First off, they got a 90% jump in how many people even bothered to open their emails. I mean, right there, that's a massive win. But wait, it gets way better. From there, they saw a 250% lift in their click-through rate. So people weren't just opening the emails, they were actually interested and clicking on what was inside. And here's the number that really blows your mind: a 340% increase in their call to action. That means way more people were actually doing the thing Philips wanted them to do. So, what was the secret? How'd they pull that off?
Well, it wasn't magic. What they did was they combined a bunch of different data sources to build these really rich, detailed profiles of their customers. This let them personalize everything: the subject line, the products they recommended, and get this, even the exact time the email hit your inbox based on when that specific person was most likely to buy. That's the promise of big data, right there.
So, if the potential is that huge, where do things go wrong? Well, a big part of it is how we think about the data itself. There are a few myths we tend to fall for, and the first one is the idea of bad data. It's this belief that if a campaign fails, you just throw all that data in the trash because it's useless. But here's a totally different way to think about it. The source material puts this perfectly. Data, whether it comes from a win or a total flop, is always fuel. It helps you tweak what you're doing right now, and it gives you priceless knowledge for the future. A failed campaign isn't a dead end at all. It's actually a compass pointing you in the right direction. Okay, check out this story. There was this American motorcycle brand that wanted to target the classic biker, the whole leather-clad tough guy image. But the campaign totally bombed. Nobody was clicking, nobody cared. But instead of just calling it bad data, they dug into what little response they did get. And what they find? The people who were responding weren't hardcore bikers. They were guys in the middle of a midlife crisis looking for a way to feel cool again. That failure didn't give them bad data, it gave them $1 billion insight and a whole new and way more profitable audience. All right, myth number 2, and it builds right on top of that last idea. It's the assumption that once you have some data, it's good forever. But the truth is, a lot of data has a shelf life, and sometimes it's really, really short. I mean, think about this floppy disk. At one point, this was cutting-edge technology for storing data. Today, it's a coaster. It's a relic. Well, your data can get outdated just as fast. Using old data is like trying to find your way around town with a map from 1995. It's just not going to work. This whole idea actually has a name. It's called data aging. It's a simple but super critical concept that information can gain or lose its value over time. What you're interested in today might be totally irrelevant to you tomorrow. And this is a perfect example of that old computer science saying garbage in, garbage out. If you're feeding your ad system stale data, like showing someone ads for pants right after they bought a pair when now they're looking for shoes, you're just going to get garbage results. You're wasting money, and maybe worse, you're just ticking off the very person you want to become a customer. This brings us to our third and final myth, and it's a big one. It's the idea that data is just for logistics, that its only job is to aim an ad at the right person. But truly smart data, it goes way beyond that. It can actually make the ad itself way better, way more creative. So here's the key idea. We've gotten so obsessed with the science of delivering ads, the targeting, that we kind of forget about the art of the message.
To make advertising that people actually like, you have to use data to inspire the creative, not just to aim it. Here is a brilliant real-world example of this. An auto brand can use live weather data to change its ad on the fly. So if it's a beautiful sunny day, the ad you see might be all about going for a joyride. But if it's pouring rain, that exact same ad space might show a message about the car's amazing safety features for slick roads. The ad isn't just targeted at a person, it's tailored to their real-life, real-time context. And that makes it infinitely more effective. So what does this all boil down to? We've seen that we need to learn from all our data, good and bad. We have to make sure our data is fresh, and we've got to use it to power creativity. But there is one last piece of the puzzle, and honestly, it's the most important one.
And it's this. Data, no matter how big it gets, is just a tool. It is not a magic 8-ball. It can't ever replace real human curiosity, smart analysis, and creative thinking. The technology by itself is never going to be the answer.
Because at the end of the day, it's the analysts, the strategists, the curious people who know how to ask the right questions. They're the ones who can look at a failed motorcycle campaign and find a hidden gold mine. They are the ones who turn all that messy, raw, big data into sharp, focused, smart data.
So the next time an ad pops up on your screen, whether it's creepily accurate or hilariously wrong, ask yourself this question. Are you just seeing the result of a giant